welcome to episode 13 of Little Workroom Crafts. Today is Wednesday, the 11th of March 2020. Right, okay, where do I start? At the moment, it is actually 25 to 1 in the afternoon. Now, I did record the whole of this, I will say, the whole of this, at 10 past 9 this morning, but unfortunately when I uploaded it my words weren't with my mouth, and I know how annoying that is. So I've deleted it off, so this is basically take 2, and let's hope it works. So I've got everything all out again and let's go, shall we? Let's start. I am not swearing in my head at all, trust me. Right, oh, I've got a bit red there. As I said, it's Wednesday. It's a beautiful day outside. I've managed to get some washing on the line, so fingers crossed that will all dry. I have a little bit of knitting to talk about. I have the samples all done for the wadding. I have, let's have a look what I've got in my pile. Oh yes, I've got some things to talk about when it comes to the bag making and everything, and the Etsy shop. Lovely response I got from everybody there. And also I've just remembered, hold on, make some bloody noises. Right, okie dokie, I've also got to talk about these because I forgot to talk about these last time. Right, calm down, Vina, calm down. As I've said, this is take 2. So let's go ahead, shall we? We'll go right into the knitting. As you can see, I have a finished project, my Scrufts cardigan. The pattern is by Katie Green, which is the Grenn Bean, her podcast, beautiful podcast, with her little dog Jack, which is so cute. I have said before in previous podcasts that when Angie and I were in at Yarndale last year, Katie actually did launch the pattern, which that is the pattern. And I got the yarn there, I got the needles, casted it on at the cottage that evening, and then when we went back the second day, I managed to get the yarn for the dog, for the pockets. It's not quite sitting, it was sitting perfect on flow this morning, but oh well, hey ho. These things happen. Okay, I will say, brilliant knit, absolutely fantastic. Really enjoyed every stitch, I really did. And it's done in pieces because that's the way Katie liked to do her patterns. And I did put it together with the mattress stitch, so that was something that I did learn as well. Also doing the little colour work on the, well, it's not colour work, it's intarsia on the pockets. And also she does a mosaic colour work down here and also on the cuffs, which was really good fun. I did enjoy doing that, actually, I really did. The yarn I used, which as I said I got it from Yarndale, is the green is Raff Mill yarns, and it's at Saddleworth, and it's shade Marsh. So that was my main colour. The Fleck cream is the same plain people, and it's colour Aran Nepp, Nepp. For the pockets, and to be honest with you, it's lucky because since I stopped the first one and so on, I managed to find the details in my knitting bag of where I actually got the second, the yarn for the dogs. So for the actual dog itself, it's called Rare Breeds, Gam Farm is the actual place, the stand that I got it from, Gam Farm. And it's 80% white-faced woodland and 20% British alpaca, and they've got no colourway or nothing, but it's a beautiful yarn, absolutely beautiful. I will say, you know, not a lot of people like what they call the rustic yarn. I do, you know, it's not scratchy, like, you know, one that you think, ooh, I can't wear it at all. But, you know, it's not as soft as a merino and so on. But I love it. And I think I don't know, there's just something about it, something about these yarns. I don't know. Anyway, for the eyes and the little mouth, I got it from the same company as Gam Farm Rare Breeds, and this one is 100% wool, reared, sheared and spun in Yorkshire. A beautiful, look, there you go, a beautiful brown. Now, as I said, I have actually found their info, and it's any more natural and the sheep would still be wearing it. I thought that was quite comical. I really did. It says here that, you know, it's a heritage farm in the heart of the Yorkshire Dales, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, she has a website, which is there, which is www.gamfarmrarebreed.co.uk. And I will say I would definitely use the yarn again, but I can't. These are a stand that are normally at the shows, and I know I've seen them at Fibre East, and they do the big packs of yarn. You buy so much of the packs for a certain amount of money. So and I know I got 2 packs of the green and 1 pack of this, and I can't remember if that was 20 or 30 pound. It's got to be 30 pound anyway. And you got a free, you could choose a pattern of what you wanted. I think I've got about 3 or 4 balls of this one left, and I've got a lot of this. I hardly ever used any of these ones at all, so I probably will put them together and do a colour work something, because they seem to go. So yeah, that is basically what I will do, you know, to use up the yarn. What I will say is I did I blocked all the pieces, and then I blanket stitched mattress stitched them all together, and then I put the band on, and then I steamed it with a what's it called, a handkerchief on it, and my iron. And while I was actually stood in here in my room doing it, you could smell sheep, literally smell sheep. It was amazing, and it just smelled like, you know, Yarndale, the inside of Yarndale. It was lovely. It just had a smell about it. It was really lovely. So I could just stand there, I don't know, because I'm weird, steaming away, and I thought, oh, that lovely, lovely smell. But well impressed with the pattern. Very, very well written. Definitely would recommend the pattern. But as I say, Katie Green's patterns are lovely anyway. So it's Scrufts, and look at the back. I just think it's her artwork is beautiful. It really, really is. And yeah, I will definitely be using the other patterns of the dogs in other things. So yeah, definitely would recommend that. Okay, so because I've been working a lot on this is literally all the this is the knitting I've got finished. But I do have some new whips, and I'm going to show you them. Oh, here they are. Right. My daughter, as you've all seen on my my vlog, my vlogmas and that lot, she loves my having home handmade socks. She really, really does. And when a couple of weeks ago, when she met me at work, she chose a ball of wool so I could knit some new socks, and she chose the West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply, which is very good, obviously, for the for socks. And it's got here, it's got the Winwick, from the Winwick Mum collection, which is very good, but it's knitting up. So much fun. Let me get a bit closer look at that. So much fun of knitting. So these are actually going to be afterthought heel, because I've got the stripes and so on. So I will pick another colour and put in an afterthought heel and toe. Now I can't decide whether to go for one big long tube and do it afterthought everything, or just afterthought heel. I can't decide yet. On the 29th of this month, Ellie from Craft House Magic has got a Barbara's Day out, which I'm very much looking forward to. And I'm probably going to be taking this, because it's just mindless in it. You just go round and round and round and round, because you are supposed to really in theory, knit and talk, but it end up being one or the other, really, doesn't it? When you're in a group. When we had the Christmas one, we sat there nearly all afternoon and thought, oh, we better get us knitting now. So we'll get there eventually. But yeah, it's mindless, so you know what I mean. It's that I could take with me quite easily. Or you see, I've got this other cast on, oh dear me, which I am really enjoying doing. Now when Ange and I, because this time last year we were so excited because we were all both getting ready to go to Edinburgh Yarn Festival, and I still every day I think about that holiday. I'll never ever forget it. It was an amazing holiday, amazing company. We just had such a laugh, and yeah, I will always remember Edinburgh. And we when we were there, we got some, a couple of kits. I got a tank top with all colour work, which hopefully I'll get that on the needle soon. And I also brought this. Now, I decided on Monday to cast this on, and I can't kind of put it down. It's it's one of those. So I could end up taking this on the 29th instead. Now, this is, oh, where is my pattern book gone? Sorry. Oh, here it is. That's in my other bag. Right. On the stand, which is the Knitting Goddess, her stand was just out of this world, and I mean out of this world. All the shawls in these pattern books were all knitted and all along. It was just beautiful. And then at the front you had all the yarn bundles with the pattern books, and then you got the yarn bundle and the pattern book for £30. And I just wow, I just had to get one. And one really stood out to me, and I said to Ange, just said, I just love that one. And she said, go on, go for it, as Ange does, bless her. Anyway, so I got the little booklet, which has got the shawl in it. And if I if I fold this over like that, because I can't let you see that, in the yarn bundle, it all came together in a certain number order, like so. So what I've done, so I actually remember what order it all goes in. Let me get them. I have labelled them all. As I was actually undoing it, I labelled all of them with the numbers. Oh, there's the other one. And these are the colours. Very me, because it's very muted colours. I do like my muted colours. And the shawl is called the... let's get back here, Levelly, and that is the shawl when it's done. And on the back you have got a plain section that goes out like that with the rib. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's only a 4-row repeat. It's very easy to do. I'm on my second colour already, and what they say is in the instructions is that you don't have to join at the beginning or the end of a row, just join it. So I'm joining it with the magic knot, and then you just go along, and then you get to a certain amount of stitches, and then there's enough left over for you to do your edge. And it does actually say to use 80cm circulars, or double end, you know what I mean, circulars, cables. That's what I'm looking for. Cabled needles, and mine only really got to 60. So I have ordered on Monday. I did order a set of 80cm from Warm Warehouse. So I'm hoping they'll be here today, because they're normally pretty good. And because when I did this, my Scrufts cardigan, I actually did all that on my 60cm, and I was so scared that they were going to break, the cable was going to snap or something like that. So I've got to invest into some more 80cm cable needles. But I do like my addies, so I'm hoping when I actually go to Fibre East in July, if Pearl Essence are going to be there, I might actually, I save up hard, so I might treat myself to one of those interchangeable sets, which I find, because I'm doing a lot of shawls and garments, that probably will be a lot easier. Anyway, I'm going off on a WhatsApp. So this here is the shawl so far, but as you see, look, you've got the the plain bit in the middle, the stocking stitch, and the rib, and that is going to go with change of colour all the way out. Beautiful. It really is beautiful, and I just can't say I can't put it down, because it is, as I say, an easy pattern as such, only a 4-row repeat. I'm thinking I might actually take this on the 29th, but you know, we'll see what happens. By the way I'm going, I might actually have it finished by the 29th because I can't put it down. But as I say, it's the Knitting Goddess. Oops, there you go. Come on, are you going to focus? Is that how they do it? Oh, I don't know. Right, okay. And it's all done UK flocks and processed and spun in the UK. And it's 75 British BFL and 25% British Marsham. And it is beautiful. Some people might find it, as I say, a bit rustic, but I think rustic, a bit scratchy, but I don't, you know what I mean? It's, and I think by the time it's actually been soaked and blocked and everything in a nice, you know, soapy stuff, it soon soften up. And I think all these things soften up with wear anyway, to be honest. But no, I would definitely recommend the Knitting Goddess. I really would. As I say, and their stand was absolutely beautiful. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so that is, by the looks of it, all the knitting stuff. Now, I have actually got my, let's put that in there, got my, oh, I tell a lie, hold on a second. Right, I have mentioned this lady in the past. She's a friend of mine, Vivienne, and her podcast, I always forget it, Sit and Knit with Vivette. Brilliant podcast. And she's in the same area as I am in the UK, and she was the lovely lady that I donated for the giveaway that's coming up, and give one of her handmade stitch markers, a couple of those, and a needle minder. And what I will say is she's just launched a new pattern, and I had to get it right away, of course, as you do, but the good thing about it is that the pattern costs £2, and £1 of that is actually being donated to a charity. Now, please forgive me, I can't remember what charity it is, but if you pop over to Viv's last podcast, so it's Sit and Knit with Vivette, she actually will show what the pattern is, which is a shawl. She'll show you it, and she will explain all what the charity is and so on. Now, where you want to go over to is Betty Arthur Creations. She's on Facebook and Etsy, and but yeah, you know, get your pattern through her on there, and it's called the Kingfisher shawl. Let's fold this over. You have to excuse my printer, it was running out of ink, so it isn't very, but that's the shawl. And there's so much you can play with it, to be honest. I'm thinking when I do cast it on, as you having the plain knit in one colour, and then the lace work, do it in something, you know, in another yarn. So but as I say, there's a couple of options as well, but it's well worth getting, because obviously you're helping a charity at the same time. So please pop over, and I'll tell you once more, it's Betty Arthur Creations, and her name is Vivienne. She's a lovely lady, and Sit and Knit with Vivette. So please go over and have a look at her podcast, and then you can see her shawl. It's really, really lovely. Then, okay, one more thing is that on my last podcast, I did mention and ask for feedback on the me opening an Etsy shop. Well, thank you so much. I do really appreciate it. For you know, you spend time giving me messages and likes and all this, and you subscribe, and I just think it's so nice. And I've decided it's going to be in the future, but I am definitely going to be opening an Etsy shop. Now, I did show, which are over there, but I did show my project bag with handles with and I chenilled it with a slash, what they call a slasher. Actually, hold on a second, I will get it, hold on. Okay, hello, I'm back. So this is the bag I showed on my last podcast, and as you can see, I've done the chenille work on it, and so these will definitely be in the shop. But my lovely friend Anita, who is Gaga Knits on with her podcast, did say about she would prefer one without the slash, and I thought to myself, I totally agree with that. I totally agree, because it's such a shame to actually, you know, cut all the way up through that beautiful fabric. So I was up here in my workroom on Sunday, and I thought, well, I'll get some bits and bobs out what I've got in my up here in the little workroom, and I'll give it a go. And I ran out of thread, so you can see what week I'm having this week. But there you go. But I have got one, and I will say I agree with her 100%. I think that they do look a lot better not slashed, but you know, the options there, I can do it, you know, I can do the chenille work, it's not a problem. Yeah, but also in the shop, when it does open, I will be having drawstring bags, notions, notion bags, pouches, sorry, DPN cozy, you know, all that kind of thing. But there is this bag that I actually did design last year, and it's one of those ones where it just dawns on me in the middle of the night, and I have to try and remember. So at the moment I have a notebook by the side of the bed, so every time I have a moment in the night I write it down. But this one here is a little drawstring, and well, I say little, it's quite a nice size, but on the front that is a little sheep made out of hexagons. Now, as you see, I have hand embroidered here knitting. I could put crochet, I could put somebody's name, you could, you know, I could do anything. But what I am going to say is, when I do open the shop, obviously the ones with the handles will be just uploaded when I make a few, and so will all be the others. But these will be for a pre-order, because the work that goes into these, as you can see, with because all this is English paper piece and it's all done by hand. All these are French knots that I hand stitch myself. So these will be uploaded every now and again, not as often as the other ones. But I have also, I've just remembered, oh, let me go back. I did this last year as well, there's a smaller version of the sheep, and this is one of the ones that goes over your arm. And also you get a pocket inside and flashy buttons on top to match the lining. So yeah, so you know, bear with me, and I will definitely, you know, be opening a shop. But as I say, these two here will be pre-order more than anything. But you know, I can do them. While we're talking about the bags, I will say that I have actually been through my stash, and because, as I say, Anita, bless her, was giving me the idea about just using them as a plain, and I've gone through my stash, and I've purchased a few bits, and I've got some fabrics. I've got to show you these, because I've got to definitely make myself one out of one of these. But I have got like different colour handles, and I've got the rainbow handle. My daughter, she said she'd have one of those as a lunch bag if I bought a wipe away on the inside, and she'd use it for work as a lunch bag. So I might have to make her one of those. But my new fabrics, I will say, is I got this piece, and I thought that these would go quite well, because normally I'd have a pattern fabric with a plain handle, so just go on the reverse. But this one, oh, look at the sheep. I know, you can't say the more. Look at the little sheep on that one. There is also, on that side, you got your black sheep in it. So I'm definitely going to make myself a sheep one, but I can't decide which sheep one to do. So I'll see what I can do. I have got some stripy, because I thought that would be a nice all-rounder. This one is nice, it's cute, because in this here, if you see, look carefully, you've got little mice there is a butterfly there. This is really pretty, this one. It is pretty. And then this one I think is lovely. This is what I had, and it's got birds. So yeah, I will make some up, and as I make them up I'll show you. As I say, I'm definitely going to be doing opening a shop in the future. I have spoken to my friend Richard. Now he's got, oh, what's it called? He's got an Facebook shop, an Etsy shop. Wacky. Oh, this is going to annoy me. Wacky Wear. That's it. Wacky Wear. And he make the I'll tell you what, beautiful handbags and wash bags. You know, definitely go and have a look over on his page, his Wacky Wear. Absolutely brilliant. And he phoned me up, and we've discussed it, and it seems pretty easy to open a shop, so you know, I'll see if I can work it out. But thank you, Richard, I do appreciate your help. Okay then, that's enough of that talk. Right, now let's get back to this. What I will say is, on not the last podcast but on my room tour, I did say to everybody, if you've got any questions or any comments or anything, please let me know. My friend Teresa, can't believe it, asked me if I'd talk about the tailor's ham, and I even had it written down in my show notes on the last episode, and I still forgot to talk about it. It's like when you go out with a shopping list, isn't it? You know, come back with the stuff you didn't want, and half the stuff you wanted you forget. So I have actually looked into the information of what I got, because this is my tailor's ham and this is my tailor's sausage. Now, as anybody would know, they can be quite expensive, you know, brought individually, especially the ham on its own is quite expensive. So I looked into it and I thought, well, no, surely you can get a pattern somewhere, and you can make them yourself. So I did this, I made these, of course, got to be about 2 years ago, I reckon. And as you can see, it's still going strong. You have sawdust in the middle, because the sawdust actually takes in the steam. I just went to a pet shop and brought that. I had a little bit of canvas, a heavier fabric than a craft cotton. I would advise a heavier fabric, and a piece of calico on the bottom. And the pattern I used, I have had a look. Ah, here it is. I googled free tailor's ham pattern, because it was free. And then as a guest post is through, that's actually is a Tilly and the Buttons pattern. Okay, and then you go onto the link, and then you scroll down, and then you've got here tailor's ham pattern and tailor's sausage pattern, and you literally just press onto them, and you literally download it, print off, simple as. And it really is a simple pattern to make. Now obviously the tailor's ham is what you use for your curves on your shoulders and stuff like that, and sleeves, seams and so on, or thin, you know, enclosed seams like that on the side of a dress or something. Get up there and use this, but they are very handy, you know. But I would definitely, yet again, when these can't be used anymore, I would definitely make more, because they are quite expensive. So, but as I say, they are easy to make, so well worth doing. You know, free pattern, little bit of fabric, or basically all it really was the bag of sawdust. That's all it was. So, okay, is there anything else? As I say, because, oh gosh, yeah, of course there is. Dear me, because obviously I feel as if I've already done this. Okay, was it on my last podcast? I think it was. I did say that I'd got some new wadding, which is the 70-30, I think then, 70-30 Eco Blend wadding. And I got a couple of pieces, and I was going to do a sample for the hand quilting and for machine quilting. Well, I've got them done, and I will say, definitely impressed. From now on, I'm not going to be getting the 80-20. I will be buying the 70-30 Eco. There's no difference in the price over here in the UK, what I have actually looked into, and it's a 90-inch width, so it's a good width, which is basic. And what I have done is, so you can actually see that I have used the wadding, I haven't bound it yet. So there is the label. Let me see if I can get that in there. Keep it still. There we go, that's it. Okay, and it's a super soft eco blend 70-30. 70% recycled cotton, 30% recycled polyester. So you know you're doing your bit as well, which is really good. So I got some a mixture of charms. In here is a bit of Sue Daly. Yep, that is a Sue Daly. That's a Sue Daly, definitely. So are those, because I do like my Sue Daly. And you know, there's a couple of others. Oh, so are these. Oh well. Yeah, so and I pieced it all together, which I will say, when it comes to piecing, which is putting the squares together, us quilters like to use a grey, a mid grey, because grey blends. So I use a Metla colour 322, and it's their silk finish cotton. It's really good, and it got, you know, as I say, it all goes together. Did I say it was a 50 weight? It is a number 50. So what I actually did is I put it together, laid it up as you would, and then I quilted either side of the square. And then on this square here, I did, there we go, a little piece of free motion quilting. I have got no trouble with this wadding at all. It was easy to work with. It was easy to quilt. There was a little bit more puffiness than the 80-20, but I just think it's because obviously you've got the recycled aspect in it, which I preferred anyway, to be honest, because sometimes in 80-20 can be really a bit too flat. So I did prefer that, but it's not major. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you're using one of those polyesters. It's you know, just a little bit, as you can see on there, perhaps just a little bit more puffy, but you know, didn't bother me at all, really didn't. Now with the hand one, because I am more of a hand quilter than I am a machine quilter, wow, that's all I can say. For hand quilting, it is superb. Yet again, I have left, there you go, so you can see, and I did English paper piecing, and I will say I did these 2 lines round here just to see what it was like, and I was up here in my workroom and I was going, look, you've got so much other things you've got to do here, you know, please stop, because otherwise I would have just carried on. It was just a pleasure to quilt, it really was. And I will quickly let you know what threads I used for this. Right, now for the actual English paper piecing, I did actually have in my stash the colours to match the fabrics, but normally I would use just the basic fawn, because that seems to blend. But yeah, again, it's Metla. Now this is a 60 weight. This is thinner, okay, because obviously the higher the number, the thinner the thread. It's a bit like the needle gauge, really. It's hand sewing needles, not knitting needles. And this one is the silk finish cotton, and I used the yellow, which is what colour 120, the red colour 504, and the green, which is colour 547. But I will say, you know, I know you see I've got a white spool and 2 green ones. It's just the green ones are new, like they've changed the spool colours basically. Now when it came to the actual quilting, I used yet again my Metla. I do like my Metla. It's a silk finish cotton again, but it's weight 40, so it's thicker again. So this is what I do use for my hand quilting, as I say. And I did use the white so you could actually see if I can get it there a bit. There you go, see the stitching a bit for it. But I tell you what, well impressed with the wadding, absolutely well impressed. I will, as I've said, definitely be using this in the future, not be using the 80-20, be using the eco. And I know I'm doing my little bit for the planet, as they say. Okay, now let's see how I have done that. I haven't got any cross stitch. I think I've done about 20 stitches, if that, in the last fortnight, because I've been, you know, concentrating on my cardigan, and I'm just so pleased with this. I really am. Can't wait to wear it. But I think, let's have a look, as I say, because I got everything out and packed it all away, and I've got everything out again, haven't I? So yeah, I think that's everything. I really do. So oh, just a quick word I will say is thank you ever so much for all your everybody who's taken part so far in the giveaway, and I'm still climbing. I think I was at 312, I think, when I looked the other day. I can't remember. So we've got another fortnight, and then I will be drawing and, you know, saying who's won. I was so excited. So I will just recap. So for anybody that's new, you've got to subscribe, because it isn't fair on all my other subscribers, you know, and most of them have been with me right from the beginning, and it just isn't fair. So you do have to be a subscriber. And the question is, what is your favorite spring flower? Now I will say there is one Pacific flower that is beating all the others, but there you go. Oh dear me. So yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun. So yeah, I will be drawing that. So it's got another fortnight. So yeah, I will actually hopefully I will have the winner on the next, well, I should have the winner on the next podcast. Okay then, so I'm going to say goodbye now, and everybody stay safe with what's going on at the moment, and keep well and keep on crafting, and yeah, that's all we can do. So take care, keep happy crafting. Bye bye.